Hello everyone and welcome back to Thinks, where every clue begins with learning. I am Nandi Rathi, your forensic science educator for forensic document examination, and we will continue our journey into forensic document examination part 2. If you haven't watched the first part yet, go and watch it. And by the end of this video, you will clearly understand the principles behind the question document examination, when and why it is used, and you will clearly understand how experts actually carry it out. We will also look at some fascinating real life cases and in which we have experienced question document examination. Let's dive right in. First of all, one of the basic principles on which forensic document examination is based is the authenticity of a document. As we have learned in the previous lecture that a question document is a document whose authenticity is under question. Authenticity or integrity is under question, or you are suspicious about it. So first principle is basically document authenticity should be determined. Is it really genuine or is it forged? We can just check the author of it, who wrote the document or who authored it, when it was created, by using what materials it was created, and after creating the original text, were there any modification that was made afterwards? Question mark. We have to analyze all the questions one by one. So first is document authenticity. They also look for tampering, like erasures, alterations, obliterations, and page substitutions. Even the type of ink and the material used, such as the ink, paper, printer, or stamp, which is used, the type of pen it is which is used to create a document, everything is checked and analyzed, because different types of inks also react under infrared lights differently. This we will going to study in next part. Moving on to third principle, which is handwriting analysis. This handwriting analysis is based on three golden principles. Firstly, that no two people can exactly have the same handwriting features, such as I have some writing parts and my writing will always be different on some points from a person who can write similar to me but not exactly the same. Like, I will be having some peculiar features, such as I'll be writing A differently, or she might write it a little different but not same. So we can say over here there are some features which we will be further going to study in a separate video on handwriting analysis and how it is done. There will be a separate video coming soon once we cover the basics for forensic question document. So first principle is no two persons can have exactly same handwriting features. Second, every person show natural variation. Like, if I am normal, I'm in a normal state. I have no external environmental conditions or my health which is hampering my writing. So I will be writing normal handwriting. But if I am ill or I am in a cold, very cold environment, so it might be possible that my hand shivers a little bit. So while my hand are shivering, my writing will be slightly different. Or if I am weak, then I may not write the same way as I write when I am normal. So every person can show natural variation. Third is a person cannot exceed their skill level. Likewise, if I have a normal handwriting, I write moderate level of skill in handwriting. So it suddenly cannot change to I am writing in very cursive, advanced cursive form. Getting my point? If I have a peculiar features, I am writing in a particular way, by night it cannot change. Like, I cannot be very smooth, I cannot calligraph, or cannot be writing in advanced cursive. Okay. So third is a writer cannot exceed their skill level. These were the three principles on which we examine any question document: the authenticity, tampering, and the handwriting analysis. Under handwriting analysis, signatures are also there, and the normal handwriting features which we will be studying further are there. Moving on. Why and when is forensic document examination used? Now, forensic document examiners are usually called in the cases involving forgeries, counterfeiting, identity theft, fraud cases, suicides, and homicides where the notes are involved, bank robberies, kidnappings, extortion. Then they are also used in some civil cases such as stalking, contested wills, contested contracts, medical malpractices, title deed lawsuits, and even in the case of when a person claims a fraud insurance. Most commonly, their job is to check whether a signature or a note is genuine or not. Then, comparing the crime scene documents with known samples of the suspect, and through this, they help include or exclude suspects from the investigations. For an example, there was a famous case of ransom note Nab's kidnapper, which happened on 1956 on Long Island, where a 1 month old child was kidnapped and a ransom note was left behind in its carriage. Supposedly, it was supposed that it was written and left by child's babysitter, and that particular note contained 16 letter formation. In this 16 letter formation, a very distinct feature was noticed, that was when he wrote M in any place, it looked like a sideways Z. It looked like the sideways Z whenever he wrote M. So, this was noticed by the investigators. After this, the investigators searched for 2 million documents from the databases, and a probation officer found that matching handwriting was from a 31-year-old mechanic. The same distinct feature of writing M as sideways Z was observed in the writing of a 31-year-old mechanic. So the babysitter was concluded to be innocent and he was convicted. The mechanic was convicted by the document examiners after they matched and analyzed the handwritings of the two. Another example are the fraudulent check or fraud altered checks. For example, if we see over here, a black ball point has been used to make the writings or any alterations if present. Now here we can see some little difference between an ink is there. The shade is 1% darker or lighter between the two inks, and we can see the alteration is over here. There is alteration present over here, and secondly alteration is over here, and the difference between the two blacks, one black is this and second black is this, so there's a difference between two blacks. Now if we see the same example under infrared lights, we can notice that this see the writings that was written before originally, they were these writings, and the altered writings contain this. For John Smith, 1 has been changed to 9, 1 has changed to 9 over here in writing. So these are the alterations which are not very clear to the naked eyes, but when we see under some lights, particular lights such as ultraviolet light, infrared lights, they show reflection differently. Each ink show different reflections. So light sources can be used to see the difference between the inks, and this is how we got to know that this check is altered. Moving on. Next example is of indented writings. Indented writings are the writings which are present beneath a paper. For example, if I wrote something on a paper and tore it off, it is not necessary that the evidence is washed off with the paper I tore, but it is present on the papers beneath the paper I tore. How it can be seen? By using the instrument called ESTA. Over here, a person wrote something and he tore it off. And after when we found this notebook at a crime scene, the page was torn off, and the page beneath that revealed something very suspicious and which helped us to know that it was a robbery ransom note. So here it is written, give me the money, you have 10 seconds before I start shooting. So this was recovered from a paper which had no writings on it. No ink, no anything was used, and still there was some indented marks left behind on the paper which were revealed using ESTA. Now, coming to the part how it is done. So, what kind of documents are examined? First of all, identification cards, contracts, wills, titles and deeds. These are type of documents that are examined, and previous also we have studied many more documents which come under quotient document examination. Now, along with these documents, the instrument used on them or used to make those paper writings or recorded matter are also examined. For example, seals, stamps, bank checks, handwritten correspondence, etc. and etc. Then comes the photocopied documents or the machine generated documents. These include the photocopies, fax machine, printers, or scanned documents. There are also some electronic documents which can be examined as an evidence. Then comes the hidden and damaged evidence. Now, what are the hidden evidence? The indented marks that we have studied, which we revealed using ESTA, are the hidden evidences. These are the evidences which are very crucial and we cannot miss them, because if a person is committing crime, he or she might be intentionally removing the evidence from the crime scene by wearing or tearing the paper off, but there are some marks which are also left behind, so we have to look for it. Damaged evidence such as any document that is burned or charred, shredded documents comes under damaged evidences. Along with this, we go for associated materials such as writing instrument, rubber stamps, envelope, metadata of digital documents such as when it was created or when it was last accessed, when it was edited, its location, time. These all things are mentioned on a digital document are metadata of a digital document. Collecting known and unknown specimen. Now we have some suspected evidences from the crime scene. How are we going to compare it, and what are we going to compare it with? So for this matter, we collect a known sample and an unknown sample. Examiners have proper protocols for recording a sample from unsuspect. He or she will dictate a paragraph, and a person who is a suspect will be writing it down and giving him as a specimen. This is known as a collected specimen. For unknown specimens, we can collect the cancelled checks, letters, diaries, signed receipt which are pre-existing in his or his closet or home. So those are the unknown specimens. This is how we compare both of them with the suspected writing or the collected evidence from the crime scene. So that's an overview of forensic document examination part 2. We looked about principles, real life applications, case studies and step-by-step process used by the experts. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Thinks. And if you have any questions, drop them down in the comments and I'll be happy to answer them. Thank you so much. Bye bye.